Okay, let's dig into this. We've got quite a stack of sources you sent over, articles, some reports, filings too, all pointing towards this really interesting intersection of Bitcoin, politics, and, well, the market itself right now.
Yeah, it definitely feels like worlds colliding, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Traditionally separate spheres now overlapping quite a bit.
So our goal here for you listening is to sort of unpack what's happening, connect those dots between, the political stuff and the crypto world, and try to get a handle on the main forces at play.
And especially how the market's reacting, because that's key. This new political dimension is definitely making waves.
Absolutely. And right there at the top of the pile, this image from the Bitcoin 2025 conference in Vegas, huge event, 35,000 people. But what really jumped out was the very visible presence of figures from the MAGA conservative movement.
People like VP J.D. Vance, Donald Trump
Yeah.
Jr., it wasn't just showing up, was it? It
Yeah.
felt quite intentional, like an embrace.
Right. And Bitcoin started out famously libertarian, decentralized, away from government control.
Exactly. So seeing it being actively courted, aligned with a specific political group, that signals a pretty fascinating shift, I think, in its identity maybe, or how people see its use.
Yeah, like it's being framed maybe strategically, not just as tech, but as a political tool almost, or
Wow.
an asset for a specific base.
And that alignment, it's not just talk, is it? It's moving into actual financial actions.
Yeah.
You flag the filing from Trump Media and Technology Group.
Truth Social's parent company, yeah.
Correct. They've officially filed with the SEC. They're seeking approval to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF.
A spot ETF. Okay, that's significant.
Very. It means the fund holds actual Bitcoin, not just derivatives, not futures contracts, real Bitcoin.
And for TMTG, which is obviously closely tied to a major political figure, doing this now, especially with Bitcoin trading strong recently, like over 105K.
It really cements that link, doesn't it,
Yeah.
between the political push and, tangible market products.
So political rhetoric meets actual investment filings. But it isn't just the U.S. political scene getting involved. We're seeing regulators elsewhere thinking about this too.
That's right. This wider global engagement forces regulators to, well, react. Look at the UK's Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA.
They're looking at crypto ETNs, right? Exchange-traded notes.
Exactly. They previously banned retail investors, everyday people, from accessing these, citing risks. But now they're reconsidering.
Potentially allowing Bitcoin and maybe other crypto ETNs, which are kind of like ETFs, but are debt instruments, to trade on regulated UK exchanges.
Yeah, and there's a public consultation on that right now, running until early July. So it's happening as we speak.
Okay, so if you step back, you've got political figures championing Bitcoin, linked companies creating investment products, and major regulators rethinking access for regular investors.
It's quite a confluence. None of this is happening in a vacuum.
And naturally, all this political and regulatory stuff, it hits the market, right? You pointed out Bitcoin slipped briefly under $101,000 recently.
Yeah, and some analysts were actually linking that dip, at least partly, to renewed public friction between figures like Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
Which sounds maybe a bit like celebrity news, but
But it highlights how, in this kind of environment, where personalities are so tied into the narrative, these perceived relationships can suddenly become, a market talking point. It can potentially sway short-term feelings.
the sources also mentioned the pullback from around 105K towards $100Ks more generally. Other factors were in play too, besides the Trump-Musk thing.
Oh, yeah. Things like U.S.-China tariff worries, wider recession fears, and interestingly, some uncertainty specifically around institutional Bitcoin reserves in the U.S.
Ah, the big players, the amount held by large funds or companies. Uncertainty there could dent confidence.
It could, maybe around accounting rules or future regulations, things like that. But what's really interesting is the contrast. Despite those political headlines maybe causing some short-term jitters and the general macro concerns.
The institutional money kept flowing in.
According to some reports, yes. Overall, institutional inflows into Bitcoin seemed pretty steady during that same period.
So you've got the political noise and macro fears causing ripples, maybe dips. But underneath, there seems to be this potentially more solid layer of institutional demand that's, well, sticking around.
It really suggests there are different forces driving things, doesn't it? The political narrative, the personality stuff, that can definitely move the needle short-term impact perception.
But the big money, the institutions, they might be looking more at the long game, macroeconomics, Bitcoin as an actual asset class. Less about the daily headlines.
That seems plausible. Understanding these different layers, the political stagecraft, the regulatory reactions, and how different parts of the market respond, it's just crucial for getting a grip on Bitcoin's current, very complex situation.
It's definitely not just about the code anymore. It's this intricate dance with governments, corporations, market psychology.
And what stands out now is how all these threads, the clear political alignment, the financial products following that, regulators needing to respond, market swings from both political noise and those deeper institutional flows, they're all weaving together right now, very visibly.
So, thinking about all this, as political and regulatory worlds keep engaging more deeply with assets like Bitcoin, here's something for you, the listener, to consider. What does this actually mean for the future of something designed to be independent, to operate outside these traditional systems? How might all these powerful, sometimes conflicting pressures shape where Bitcoin goes next?